Welcome. Scott here. Here is a quick boss guide for the upcoming World of Illusion Spiritus, Ramuh event. This is the third Spiritus Summon Boards fight in Global that feature the Spiritus level difficulty. The featured units for the event banner are the returning Ashe, Agrias, Ramuh, Rinoa, Kimahri, and Setzer. When the event is released in JP, the featured unit for BT representative is Laguna. My guess is that Rinoa will be replacing him. Ashe FR and BURST will be making their debut along with her C90 reworks. We will be fighting two Abyssal Anzu spiritual. Both bosses have 120 million HP each. They don't have any major resistances by default. The resistances changes depend on the state that they are in. To achieve the S grade in Spiritus Clear, you need to defeat the stage within 50 turns. The HP requirements is 50,000. Before I continue further, here is a small disclaimer clause for the video. The guide is written based on the time that the event was released for the Japanese version. Please do note that it is possible that the boss fight mechanics might differ when the actual event is released in Global. Before I continue on to the boss mechanics, let's talk a bit about the Spiritus score system. As you fulfill the milestones, you will get a grade. The ultimate reward of the stage is to get a grade S. For any Spiritus fight, you cannot bring any friend support for the fight. Now I proceed to talk about the key thresholds that you need to watch out for the fight. At the start of the fight, the boss will gain stats boost like other Shinryu or Laguna fight. The boss will also activate Bathing Plus and enters into water mode. While in this mode, they will absorb all elements except for Holy and Thunder. They will gain strong Brave resistance against all weapon types. In other words, they resist everything except for Thunder and Holy. Their Brave cannot be dropped below 1% and they become immune to turn deletion. The bosses are unkillable until both bosses' HP has been depleted to 9%. When you reach 89% HP threshold, you get the grade score of D. You trigger the condition, Abyssal Anzu's turn become instantaneous. Both bosses will use Storm Surge Plus, which is a guaranteed hit, AoE Brave plus HP attack. The attack will ignore HP damage nullification and heals the boss 1%, which equates to 1.2 million HP. It will boost the boss's defense and raises its Brave damage. At 69% HP threshold, you get the grade score of C. You will trigger the message, Rain has stopped. The boss will switch from its water mode to dark mode. While the boss is in dark mode, your party cannot gain Brave. At 39% HP threshold, you trigger another message, Abyssal Anzu's turn rate become instantaneous. The boss will use Dark Surge, which is another guaranteed hit, Gravity AoE HP attack with 50% splash. It will grants the boss HP damage and speed up buffs. When both bosses are at 9%, you will trigger the final offensive phase where you achieve the grade score of B. Both bosses will recover 48 mil HP and boss B will switch dark mode to water mode. The field effect will be active during this phase. They will become killable. The boss force gauge will be filled to the max and uses Dark Surge ++ where it will cleanses all debuffs, followed by an AoE Brave plus HP attack and initiates a force time of 20. At the force time turns of 20, 12, and 4. Both bosses will unleash the guaranteed hit AoE HP attacks of the respective form. You will get grade A if you complete the fight within 51 to 75 turns. You will get grade S if you complete the fight below 50 turns. As we are no longer have Laguna plus fights, the boss guide will be focused primarily on Shinryu fights. In Shinryu, you need to understand the effects gained by the boss as the force gauge build up, its force ability and its force time effect. If your party has low force levels, it is highly certain that the boss force gauge will build up faster than yours. To have a better understanding on the basics of the force gauge mechanics and Shinryu fights, I have done a video explaining the mechanics. I have included the link to the video under the comments and video description for your quick reference. Throughout the fight, a field effect that reduces your party brave damage by 50% will be applied. When the force gauge is equal and above 30%, another field effect that reduces your party speed by 50% will be applied. When the force gauge is equal and above 50%, another field effect that reduces your party attack by 50% will be applied. At the 100% threshold, depending on the current state that boss is in, the boss will use its force ability, Storm Surge +++ or Dark Surge Plus, and activates its force time for 4 turns. Regardless of the state, both force abilities is a recover from break status, AoE Brave plus HP attack. Upon using the force ability, the boss will enter into its force time where the gauge will start to emit a red hue with a counter of 4 on its gauge. The force enhancement will varies depending on the state that the bosses is in. If they are in the water state or blue form, your party cannot gain brave. Stolen and natural initial brave recovery are excluded. If they are in the dark state or purple form, the boss will apply a field effect of HP poison that equates to 20% of your character's max HP. To deal the force weakness, you need to use a force ability that deals thunder and holy elements. Upon dealing the force weakness, you cancel the boss force time. Any non-elemental force ability with Ashe LDCA will work for this as well. The fight can be divided in 3 phases: the water state phase when the boss is between 100% to 70%, the dark state phase when the boss HP is between 69% to 10%, and the final offensive phase when the both bosses HP drops to 9%. You cannot kill the boss until its HP has dropped to 9%. Firstly, let's cover the first phase, water state phase. At the start of the fight, the standard stats boost auras will be activated, and this followed by the bathing plus field effect activation. Upon activation, the field effect will allow the boss to absorb all elements except for thunder and holy. They will gain strong resistances to against all weapons type damage. In other words, they resist everything except for thunder and holy. Their brave won't drop below 1% of their max brave, and they becomes immune to turn deletion with their turns on the CTB gauge becomes framed. When one of their HP drops to the 89% HP threshold, you triggered the following prompt. Abyssal Anzu's turn rate become instantaneous. The boss will warp its turn forward and use Storm Surge Plus. Storm Surge Plus is a guaranteed hit AoE Brave plus HP attack that ignores HP nullification effects and heals the boss HP by 1% of its max HP or 1.2 million. It will also grant the boss the following framed buffs: 30% defense up and 30% brave damage up buff for 3 turns. You can prevent Storm Surge Plus if you disable their turns with paralysis, confusion, or other turn disable debuffs like Camlanot BT aura, Edward Sleep. HP silence debuffs might also work for this. When one of the boss HP drop to 69%, you will trigger the rain has stopped condition. Both bosses will change their state from the water mode to the dark mode. They will apply a field effect that prevents your party from gaining brave. Stolen and natural brave recovery are excluded. All resistances that they gained in the water state will be removed. When the boss HP drop to 39%, you will trigger another Abyssal Anzu's turn rate become instantaneous condition. The boss will warp its turn forward and uses Dark Surge. Dark Surge is another guaranteed hit gravity AoE HP attack with 50% splash damage. The gravity mechanics is where the boss will drain your party current brave and gains that brave and uses it for HP attack. Upon using the attack, the boss will gain 2 framed buffs: 30% HP damage up and 50% speed up for 3 turns. Similar to the Storm Surge Plus trigger at the 89% HP threshold, you can prevent Dark Surge if you disable their turns with paralysis, confusion, or other turn disable debuffs like Camlanot BT aura, Edward Sleep. HP silence debuffs might also work for this. Let's cover the final phase, the final offensive phase. To trigger this phase, both bosses' HP must drop to 9%. If you use a force time to bring the boss HP down, they won't die of the damage until this phase is triggered. So don't use all your skills until you see this phase trigger. Upon activation of the phase, you will see the following prompt: the final offensive. The bosses will cleanse its debuffs and filled its force gauge to the max. Boss B will change from dark state to the water state. Boss A will carry the resistances from the dark state while Boss B will carry the resistances from the water state. So be mindful of that. Boss A will use the force ability, Dark Surge ++ where it will recover both boss HP back to 48 million HP each and recovers from break status before unleashing an AoE Brave plus HP attack. It will also activate its force time which lasts for 20 turns. Unlike the normal force time, the last offensive force time cannot be cancelled if you are dealing the force weakness. During the force time, the boss will gains the following enhancements. They will gain Party Brave Regen that equates to 10% of their max Brave and applies 20% max HP Poison Aura on the field. You will trigger the Abyssal Anzu's turn become instantaneous when the force time turn is at 20, 12, and 4. Upon reaching this turns, Boss A will use Dark Surge while Boss B will use Storm Surge Plus. Like the previous threshold, you can prevent these attacks with turn disable debuffs. Now, let's cover a bit on the boss basic attacks. While in water mode, the boss will use either Tail Slash or Shining Venom. Tail Slash is a single Brave attack. Shining Venom is an AoE Brave and inflicts a sap debuff for 3 turns. The sap debuff will drains Brave equates to 80% of the boss max Brave. This can very deadly if you don't have means to handle the Brave gains. Even tanks like Celis need a Warrior of Light LDCA call to survive the attacks during this phase. While in dark mode, the boss will use either Tail Slash or Ashe Venom. Ashe Venom is an AoE Brave attack and inflicts 3 turn poison that equates to 50% of inflicted units max Brave. What happened? The boss force time expired. The fight will end and you win the fight as illustrated on the screen grabs featured on the right side of the slide. Now let's recap on the stage mechanics. The bosses are unkillable until you activate the final offensive phase, which is when both bosses' HP drop to 9%. The boss will enter water state and it lasts from 100% to 70%. During this phase, the boss resists everything except for thunder and holy. They becomes immune to break and turn deletion. At the 89% HP threshold, the boss will use guaranteed hit Storm Surge Plus. This attack ignores HP nullification effects. You can either prevent it with turn disable utility or have means to control its Brave like freezing its Brave with the freeze debuff. Watch out for the sap debuff from the bosses during this phase. The boss will switch to dark state and it will last when the boss HP from 69% to 10%. During this phase, your party won't be able to gain Brave. At the 39% HP threshold, the boss will use guaranteed hit Dark Surge, which is a gravity attack that scales off your party current Brave. You can prevent it with turn disable utility. When both bosses' HP drop to 9%, they will enter into final offensive phase. Boss B will switch to water state. Do take into that they gains properties of field resistance of the respective state. Boss A will use Dark Surge ++ which cleanses all debuffs and recovers 48 million HP for both bosses. They will activate the force time of 20. When the force time turn is at 20, 12, or 4, Boss B will use a Storm Surge Plus and Boss A will use Dark Surge. To end the fight, you can kill them off or wait until the expiration of the force time. To get grade S, you need to achieve the clear under 50 turns. The HP requirements is 50k. As long as you have adequate healing, this shouldn't be a problem. Now, let's cover a bit on the feature FR unit Ashe. Ashe FR conditions is pretty easy to fulfill. 1. Dealing thunder damage will grants 20% HP damage bonus upon taking a turn. 2. Dealing holy damage will grants another 20% HP damage bonus upon taking a turn. 3. You will get 20% HP damage bonus when your unit has 4 active buffs. Ashe is a dual thunder and holy enchanter and it is very easy to meet the conditions for this FR. Most units have 3 starting buffs and it should be too difficult to meet the quota of 4 buffs. Upon using the FR attack, Ashe will grant the powerful Queen Order buff for 1 turn. The buff will give significant offensive boost that includes 50% HP damage up along fixed HP damage that equates to 10% of the max Brave cap. If you don't intend to get Ashe's burst, my personal advice is to suggest that you skip building her FR. Her FR conditions bonus gains is quite underwhelming where its max gains are at 60% per turn. The real prize is her BT aura. Her BT aura will elevate to her a powerful offensive support. While her BT aura is active, any excess HP heals will be converted to Brave. The enemies cannot gain Brave or buffs. It will also trigger her Empyrean Edict's follow-up attack. In other words, in order to get the best of the Dalmasca Queen, you need her fully kit. We have come to last slide of the guide. For every Spiritus fight, there are ticket challenge mission. For the Ramuh Spiritus event, the 3 challenges are: 1. Ticket Challenge 1, bring a team that consists of green, black, or blue crystal units. 2. Ticket Challenge 2, bring a team that consists of sword, greatsword, or throw weapon users. 3. Ticket Challenge 3, bring a team that is from one of the 3 following series: Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy XII or Final Fantasy Tactics. On the screen you can see a table showing the list units that you can consider for the challenge. Don't worry too much if you are unable to clear it when the event is released. You can still get enough Spiritus keys to claim all treasures in the stage by clearing other missions. Example of team comps that meet all challenge conditions are Celis, Terra and Ashe or Celis, Ashe and Setzer. With this, I have come to the end of my boss guide presentation. Hopefully you find it useful. If you like the video, please give a like. Please subscribe to my channel for future gaming content. Good luck for the fight in the coming days. Bye.